Last weekend, Australia's Royal Melbourne played host to the 9th President's Cup, a match play event that is played every 2 years between the United States and an international team comprised of non-European players. This year, Greg Norman and Fred Couples were the captains, as 24 of the best players in the world competed for this trophy that was first awarded to the victorious Americans back in 1994.
It was developed to give a lot of guys that were playing on our tour the opportunity to play in team match play competition. There were a lot of guys coming up on our tour in the early and mid '90s that didn't get the opportunity to play in the Ryder Cup. The Greg Normans of the world, the Steve Elkingtons, the Nick Prices, Vijay Singh, and it really was developed to give those guys an opportunity to do that.
The matches alternate between being played on mainland USA and a venue that gives the internationals the home court advantage. In 2013, the matches will be played at Buellfield Village in Ohio, meaning this year it was the Americans' turn to travel.
I've always enjoyed being around team golf. Obviously, we don't get to play it a lot. It's an individual sport, and 51 weeks out of the year we're playing individually. The 1 week of the year that we do play a Ryder Cup or a President's Cup, to be on that team or associated with that team is a real thrill for me.
For representing a country, it's not something we get to do very often. We want to make this team. This is an incredible week, a lot of fun. We get to go to great places like Australia that we don't get to go to very often, because this is really, a hidden gem of the golfing world.
International golfers come along in leaps and bounds in the last 10 to 15 years, and the makeup of the international team and the upcoming venues reflect that. It was announced this year that the event will visit Asia for the first time in 2015, with South Korea named as the host.
As the game continues to grow, with golf getting into the Olympics, and you're going to see a lot more developing countries, put some money behind developing players, and you're going to see this event just travel more and go to every other year. It goes to an event that's outside the United States, and we're going to travel to a lot of other places.
The sport of golf, and the PGA Tour in particular, has for years been one of the world's leading sporting organisations in terms of raising money and charitable giving. That pattern of behaviour is no different when it's running an international teams event.
Another thing that's really important to the PGA Tour about the President's Cup is what the event stands for, and the amount of money that what we do to give back to charities. I think since its inception, we've given over $23 million US to charities around the world, 380 charities around the world in 15 different countries.
There's an obvious comparison between the President's Cup and the more established Ryder Cup that pits the Americans against the Europeans every other year. But the PGA Tour and President's Cup organisers believe there is more than enough room for both to coexist.
We've never wanted to be bigger, better than the Ryder Cup, because the Ryder Cup is a phenomenal event, and one thing about, more so than anything, the Ryder Cup has on the President's Cup is history. It's a phenomenal history, and it's just a wonderful event, and if we could ever be as big as that, it would be great.
It can be the same. Europe's had years of building this thing up to where it is. They had the Great Britain and Ireland days where they got pummeled every year. Europe came on board, and they had that sweet spot of players. Seve kind of led the charge. It was a build-up over a long period of time, and I think we can do that.
This year's USA team included 6 President's Cup rookies, and despite taking the risk of blooding new players in such a high-profile tournament, the combination of fresh faces and more established players worked in their favour as they secured an impressive victory on foreign soil.
I think golf in the US is going to be strong, and it's going to continue to be strong, but it's great to see how well the guys from Europe are playing and how well the guys from the international, the KJ Choi's and Wai Yangs and Ryo Ishikawa's, they're playing phenomenal golf. And golf is strong globally, and the President's Cup plays a big part in that.